morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, Day 7 of the official Saratoga 2025 meet. He is Jonathan Kinchin. I'm Andy Serling, and it is an absolutely gorgeous day, and I thought a pretty fun 10-race card as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the day part is the most important because it's been a little uncomfortable.
It's been a little warm. Some of us have more trouble with heat than others. I'm not saying it's Jonathan that's basically got his own personal air conditioner on his back that he carries around. It's so nice out. You don't even have the air conditioner on.
I would have it on. I wouldn't be upset.
I know you
about
would.
It.
I know you would. Yeah.
I
You
know.
probably have it on in the winter.
I don't want to upset you.
Yeah,
though.
probably in the
No,
winter. You got the
AC.
windows open in the winter and the AC blowing when you're in the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll be married for much longer. There's no I know anything about it. Anyway, let's head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200 and we'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have a 10% bonus, I want to say. Opt in for this. Hit a win bet. I guess it's one win bet. Get all the information at NairaBets.com. Don't forget to opt in for that. We also have a hit and split, I believe, today. 10,000 hit and split. Late pick 5 here and Colonial Downs. Colonial Downs, where Mark Cassie got his 4,000th win, correct? Congratulations to him as well before winning the last race. I'm not congratulating for that one. I needed the 4 to hold on. So I'm a little bitter. Cross country big 5. We've got 2 at Monmouth, 3 here. Man, you're blowing through these. No, I'm good. I like it. Lockaway. Eddie's not here. Eddie went away for the weekend. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. He's going to a wedding. Who leaves Saratoga for a wedding? I have a good friend from high school who got married in New Jersey on Travers Day.
That's criminal.
It really is. I hold it against him the rest of his life. Otherwise, he's actually a nice guy. What else do we got? We got the shirt. So here's what I'm so annoyed I'm not on with you tomorrow because I wanted to wear this on the set on Sunday with you. I think everybody should wear that in the set with you. What do you think?
I think
with
it's
that?
good. Yeah.
We got that's going to be a popular one, the Hawaiian shirt. In fact, they're already lining up for that. And we have the show, the big show. 1 to 3 day Fridays are going to be a bit tricky. 1 to 3 on FS2 and the rest of the day on YouTube. Just go over to YouTube. Go to the Naira YouTube channel. Just put in Naira and search. Even I can do it. And you'll pull up the live show, 3 to 6:30 on YouTube. You are on early. They're keeping us apart this week. I'm a little sad. It's hard.
Yeah.
Race number 1. Hey, the nice thing about this race is Linda Rice actually didn't scratch her horse. Yes, Linda, I'm going to punish you today. To be fair, one of her horses was an actual regulatory vet scratch, or the last. The others, whatever. So what are we doing here? What are you doing? We're agreeing.
Same exact.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
there's a lot to say about this race.
Yeah, the bad thing, the workout report did not like the 4 last time, which is a little. It was like the most recent work was a little discouraging, but whatever. These are cheaper type horses. What are they supposed to work like Sovereignty every time out there? I'm going to draw a line through the last race, pretend that didn't exist. I thought the pace was way too fast for this level, and I think if this horse runs the races 2 and 3 back, he can win.
I don't disagree. I just thought she'd be a little bit better price in here. I have no problem with the 7, 5 dozen roses. She should be stalking her. It's obviously an enormous rider switch to Irad Ortiz. David's being awfully optimistic, making the switch to Irad Ortiz 7 to 2. I'm going to make fun of you about that one, David. And I think you're sitting at home going, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. And it is interesting, though. He makes Sills Pleasure the favorite here. I'm not Sills Pleasure's biggest fan, and Flavien Prat's never ridden this horse in the dirt before. I guess I don't know. I guess this horse can win if the 4 and 6, 7 hook up.
Yeah, it's weird. The debut is good, but the rest of the races haven't been that great.
I agree.
But, someone's got to win this race.
No, someone's going to win, and we're hoping it's the 4 in this race, picking the 7 second, 5 dozen roses. They feel like the 2 forwardly placed horses are most forward horses with a scratch of the 3. Race number 2, I think, is a really interesting race because we'll show Shoot It True winning the Notebook, and obviously it's against the boys, a huge race. Then the horse comes back off a layoff and is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Obviously a very fast pace. Why are we supposed to be so confident that this is a turf horse? Because Wesley Ward?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the answer to that is one of the things that I'm grateful for here at Saratoga is you have the Oklahoma turf training track. So 2 works ago, this horse worked on the turf and worked well. And I was with the 2-year-old.
45 and 3.
Yeah. So that's my assumption that the turf could work for this one.
And it's very possible, but what I would also say is this is a very fast horse.
Yeah.
And on July 4th, that was a very firm turf course. So I don't want to get too carried away. And I've got the horse second. I'm not going to be surprised, but it's a little bit of the old Harvey Pack, right? The not betting a horse a favor, trying to do something it's never done before. And I just feel like while she can win, and I certainly am going to have a 5-6 exact, I'm not that stupid. I may be stupid for picking the 6, but I'm looking forward to talking about her. I'm not going to take this horse at what's likely going to be shorter than 5-2, especially with that workout showing. A horse I thought was a little interesting that we left out that could be forward is Bustin' Bullet. And the reason I say to be forward is when this horse runs her best races, including this win here at Saratoga, she's forward. Now, this was first time for Safi, and while she hasn't run back to that race, she's been running down at Gulfstream Park, and I wonder if maybe getting back to Saratoga could help her out. And I don't think that IRAD wants to get into a pitched battle with Shoot It True, but I think you have to be forward in case Shoot It True doesn't have the same kind of speed on turf. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to try to like Bustin' Bullet, but as I dug a little bit deeper, the last few races haven't been
I
very
have not
good.
liked them either.
Even though the last win, the horse was odds on to finally get the win. I don't like when horses continue to lose at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1. The only time they win is when they're odds on, meaning that they're much better than everyone.
Well, the horse
they're
won
facing.
11 to 1 here. Thank God.
Yeah, but
it got me out for the meet, actually.
Yeah. The other thing is the layoff. This horse hasn't been working all that great. And I don't like when horses don't work great off of layoffs because I think it means a little bit more than, if a horse is in form, they just go out one morning and don't have a good work. That's not a big deal. But when they're leading in from a layoff, I think it's a little more of a concern.
Also, isn't there just the argument that this horse has found the non-winners of the other two other than company just a lot tougher, and that's what happens a lot when they move up. But I think she can be forward in here. Okay, my argument for latest edition. It's one of the easiest arguments to make. Let's draw a line through the trainer and the jockey. And I'm not saying it's not relevant, because it is. This horse last time chased wide against a very strong rail bias and a race that was wired and chased the leader wide the whole way. The last time this horse ran a turf sprint, this horse ran a 77 buyer for these connections at 83 to 1 and ran a race that would make her very tough in this race. I don't think you're going to argue against that. And I understand Tom had her before, but the reality is, and she did come back a week after Tom had her, so she was running back on Tom's training. But having said that, it's not like this horse has bad turf races, and I can make a bias track excuse for this horse in a field where there's a lot of question marks in here. I mean, you're in a predicament where you can't knock this horse, but you really think I'm wrong, though, in what I'm saying about this horse.
No, you're 100% right. No, you're right. And there's really no equity in me even trying to poke a hole in it at 30 to 1.
The hole is the connections, and it's a very understandable hole, and I may, get burned. I took that long shot yesterday, or ran so well 2 times ago, and yesterday the horse was eased down the backstretch. I'm wondering about the whole situation, but regardless, I mean, Kerry. Okay, Kerry's back to Joe Sharp. I can see why Jordan did it. He said to Mike Maker, Joe did well with this horse, you're not. I'm not sure Kerry can run it all. Yes, she chased outside last time, but she also got smoked by latest edition, who was wider than she was. And Strictly Taboo could certainly win in here. Weekend Rags could absolutely win. Did either one of them run that well last time?
No, and the thing with Strictly Taboo is even the 2 wins that Strictly Taboo has, it's just a little bit light on numbers for what some of these horses could run today.
I agree, and I didn't think she had she was against the track a little bit last time, as was Weekend Rags, but I thought Weekend Rags had a very, very soft trip overall and should have at least been second over Marco T in that race. I was disappointed on the drop down. We'll see. Maybe she'll do well off the claim. Mike Maker, for what it's worth, off the claim in turf sprints at NYRA, he's 0 for 13. Not a huge sample size, but a little food for thought.
0 for 13 is 0 for 13.
Yeah, my feeling here is I'm going to bet the 6 to win. I'm certainly going to have a big 5-6. And then I'm going to use horses like the 1 and 9, who I think are okay, but I'm not, thrilled with them. I'm not going to get into a situation where the 6 runs second at a big price and I get nothing.
Right.
See what happens in race number 2. Race number 3, I think you and I agree in this race on the number 3. I'll let you talk about him.
Yeah, I just this is not a blanket statement. I think blanket statements in racing can be dangerous, but I'm upgrading a majority of the horses that come from Churchill. I thought this race was better than it felt. I think, there's been a horse or two that have run back and run well out of that race. And I just feel like it was the blinkers that moved them up. I don't think it was necessarily that they caught the right group. I just think that Alstall figured out adding the blinkers to this horse and showing some speed made the difference. I think it's a new horse now.
Do you worry that he gets into a situation with the 7 Tiz Marcus, who has a lot of speed on the outside?
I do. It's a concern. But a lot of times when there's only 2, They don't always ding dong. Though one of them sometimes will sit off.
I would say they don't ever always not ding dong. There is that once in a blue moon when they do, but it's not that frequent.
Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, they're the two most likely winners in my opinion. So why wouldn't they just sit off of each other?
We need to look up what Tom's record was at the previous Churchill meet because he said on the show about 37 times so far how great the meet was at Churchill, how tough it was. So I feel like there's a 2 for 53 there that we're just not uncovering. But we're going to have to look that up. But obviously the racing was good there. I thought this horse's last race was very good. You look at the race. I think there's an argument that race was actually a little bit better than it looks, and I was going to take them too. And maybe sometimes you're just a little tired of horses, but then again, House United will show is coming from Churchill. But while House United can win here, do I really want to take this horse off? The race is out of town. This was a sloppy track, basically a turf field. So I don't know, but he has run races that are good enough in the past. It's not as though this is the only race. But he was for Al Stall, and no knock on Rob Atras, who does well, but his numbers at Saratoga haven't been spectacular, and Al's a trainer that knows how to bring horses here and do well.
Yeah, I mean, with House United, you'd like to think that his style is going to fit well if the 3 and the 7 hook up.
I'll get him to a good spot regardless,
Yeah,
though. I don't think he's going to
so.
be compromised one way or the other. What about the 2, Holton? You don't like this horse at all. I actually thought he improved for Rick last time, and I thought he was dangerous because he took a step forward for Rick and got back to his very best race. Thought it made him a little bit interesting in here. Not a fan?
No, not a fan, but it's just because, you can't pick them all, right? I really like the 3. I would, if multi-race wager-wise, all I would need is the 3 and the 7. I would feel good to just...
Really? I don't like the 7. I'll tell you what I don't like about the 7. I don't like horses claimed away from Chris Hartman. And what was this horse's big excuse last time at even money?
Not one.
And it was ex-Hartman.
But
That's
a lot of
what
times,
worried me.
If it's a trainer who I like, and I'm not saying personally, I mean I like. Norm
I just
personally.
like his wife. I really don't like Norm. I'm only nice to Norm because I like Gabby so much.
I understand that. If it's a trainer that I think does a good job, I'll give them a couple of chances with the claim. Especially, because sometimes you got to figure it out. You got to get some feedback, make some changes, make some adjustments. It's not like a horse can't improve second off the claim. It doesn't have to be first.
Okay, fair enough. No, I'm not. I didn't love that horse. I put him fourth. We'll see. Of the speeds, I prefer the 3. We'll see what happens in race number 3. Race number 4, the mile and 3/8. I thought this was a really, really fun race, and I wanted to show the race where 4 of these horses come out of it: Mendy, and Esprit, and Abundant Love. And I'm curious why you like Mendy. Because I don't like this horse at all.
Yeah, I think you probably don't like him for a reason that I would have used to not her. Excuse me. Well, I would have used to have not liked her, which is I used to always automatically kind of toss out horses to get easy leads on the turf and wire the field.
That's not why I don't like her, but that's okay.
Okay, good. I thought she ran well in there. I thought she has improved. I think that the distance kind of solved a question for her, and I believe that she's going to get the same trip today.
I don't. I will say that she's very much helped by the scratch of Grove City Sunset, who the base projectors seem to think was going to be forward, though I don't quite get it. I wonder if they'll be aggressive with green jobs in here from the outside. I would send that horse. Blinkers on, fast pace last time. Why not try to put this horse in front in here? Do something different with her.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I haven't talked to Chad. It's not that I have any real thoughts on that. What I'll say is there's something that the first 3 finishers in the Mendy race all share. Every single one of them spent almost the entire race on the rail before angling out late. And that was a super strong inside. And while they spent the race in the rail, Lady Mice was 2 to 3 wide the whole way around the track. And I don't think you'll disagree with me. Sorry, Jose. Junior Alvarado's a lot better rider than Fernando Hara. Fernando Hara, who's winning at about 6 or 7% this year, and Junior's having a tremendous year. So I think you get a big rider switch. I think you got a horse, to me, that improved dramatically when switched to the mile and 3/8 race, stretching out, and was against the track last time. So this horse is an automatic play for me out of that race.
Yeah, I see it, especially if you're looking at it from a bias standpoint. I preferred the 9 because I felt like if I was wrong, like if the 8 just got Mendy got an absolutely perfect trip, easy, soft lead, I thought the 9 did a lot of running. So I felt comfortable having the 8 and the 9. I either was right with the 8, or if I was wrong with the 8, then the 9 actually ran really well.
Abundant Love's a tricky one. The problem is Abundant Love spent 80% or more of the race on the rail. But also, yes, the horse was blocking the stretch. But didn't you feel like when this horse got clear that she really had kind of nothing?
I wonder if it's an illusion that she had nothing because the pace was slow and the others
Okay.
were still there.
No, I'm not. I didn't pick her. I gave her a long, long look. What about Rescue Me? I don't think she ran great last time, but she did improve, and she was a little bit in a bit of traffic, and she could have run a little faster. And I think the thing to note about her is that Fool's Gold, you might remember this horse. I remember this horse because I called Chad Brown when he was in Florida, and she was running an allowance race at a mile and 16th at Gulfstream, and I said, I love Fool's Gold today. And he said, why? and I said, she's had brutal trips in the last week. He goes, oh, that's good to hear. Okay, good luck. She won at 7-1. And he called me after the race. He goes, yeah, I guess you knew her better than I did. But what happened with her, what you may remember, is they stretched her out. And she was a completely different horse stretched out. I mean, she won a mediocre non-winners of one. She was a stakes horse. I believe she won one of the Way or Glens Falls up here. She was competitive in good fields going a mile and 3. So I wondered if from a pedigree standpoint, and I'm sure that's what Chad is thinking, same connections, this horse could really improve going longer.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals where, I try to zig and zag with Chad on the turf here just because, he wins a lot of these races, but a lot of times he gets blindly bet just because it's him and it's grass.
This is a funny one where David's got both of them double-digit odds. Now, we'll see if that comes to fruition. But what about Pemaquid? See, I'm not sure how much I love the whole Mendy race. What about a horse like Pemaquid? I think this horse ran great, but did a little bit of running in there.
Yeah, just one of those horses that just that gives you the assumption that, Longer's going to be better, this late running horse. But I didn't really think he did all that much running last time, or she did all that much running last time.
I agree.
And that's kind of what threw me off. She didn't break great either.
That was
last time.
She was way back early.
So if she does that again here today, I thought she would be in trouble. I just thought that those types of horses get bet. This is a really tricky race.
I agree. Pemaquid's the kind of horse that I'm looking at David's line, 9-2 doesn't appeal to me in Pemaquid.
Yeah.
I think she's interesting, but I'm not sure I want her in the. She's got the look of the one that she was closing the mile and 16th. Now she's a mile and 3/8.
Yeah.
If racing worked like that, I don't know. Maybe I'd be less broke. Race number 5, and we'll break after 5. I like this race. I think this is a super fun race, and it's evidenced by our picks. We've got 8 of the 10 horses covered in our picks, and I think it's that kind of race. No, I don't. I don't think it's a question of disagreements. I think there's just an enormous amount going on in this race, and I'll let you talk about Garden of Grace.
Yeah, I just like Garden of Grace. I thought Garden of Grace broke well last time, but took back. Then the other horse was in there, Silsby.
Ran super.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just felt like it was one of those situations where, Pratt probably didn't want to ding-dong with the other George Weaver horse. And I think that this horse is going to show a lot more speed today. And I love some speed in the turf sprint.
But don't you think the 2, the 8, the 10, there's a reasonable amount of speed in this race? And let me say something else about Garden of Grace. Doesn't a rider change bother you a little bit? I mean, this is not exactly a tremendous rider switch for a horse that's going to take a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's
it bothered me.
It's hard to argue. I will say this though, if I like the fact that Garden of Grace is drawn towards the outside, even though there's a little bit of other speed in the race, it gives Eric a little bit of options.
I'll tell you what I love about Ultra Cameo. It gives me an opportunity to discuss Jeremiah Englehart and all the hot dogs that he ate on 4th of July weekend because I have one of the most loyal trolls ever. This is a man pretending to be a woman who has been following me for 10 years on Twitter and says the stupidest stuff and to just take shots at me all day long, and it's funny. And this guy is now mad that I keep bringing up Jeremiah eating the hot dogs in the show. So it's either going to be we're going to have a picture of Jeremiah eating the hot dogs in the corner of the screen, or there's going to be at least one mention of it made every day, just in honor of somebody who spent the last 10 years of his life pretending that I care about him. I do care. I care deeply about my trolls. I'll tell you what I don't like about this horse. I feel like last time was the time with the 8. I'm not saying the horse can't win, but, man, last time this horse should have won. And lost to a weird Jeremiah horse who he told me he didn't even like.
Yeah, I
told me after the race that he didn't like the horse, actually.
I felt like the little cutback was going to help a little bit the way that horse ran last time. Got a little tired late, kind of opened up.
Don't you worry, the paces are faster at 5.5 up here, though?
Yeah, but drawn out there, you don't have to be there. You can sit right outside of the 7. I think Garden of Grace will probably go. George isn't one that takes away speed from his horses. So,
what about Olivia's Grace? Isn't that horse supposed to go? Let's show Olivia. No, we're going to blow off Olivia's Grace. Isn't she supposed to go from the inside?
I mean, I
don't like her, but
I would think so.
They should have won yesterday with that horse in that maiden turf race that Jeremiah got up, finishing third. That was, if you bet that horse, you're still sick and Ticket to Ride. Okay, Saratoga Snow. I want to show the replay of Saratoga Snow's whole race, and also it is the race where Ultra Cameo finished second. But I want to focus on Saratoga Snow for the most part, who breaks extremely well, showing that this horse can be somewhat forward. Now, obviously, Jose was happy letting this horse drift back, and I don't think he wants to get involved, but maybe he wants to hold a little better position. But that checked impeded at the 7/16 pole is extremely legitimate trouble. You're talking about a horse that was in sort of a reasonable spot in this race and kind of loses a little position between horses. And I think right there, Jose realized he was getting in tight. And right there, that is a severe, severe steady. This horse drops back a good 3 or more lengths and just completely out of the race, and actually ran a little bit after that in a race where the pace held together. That was the first start, and it was turning back, and they decided to run shorter, which I kind of like being a Vekoma. And I'm not sure this is the kind of horse that has the improvement from those mid-50 buyers to get into the 60s. And I didn't see anything about that race to suggest this horse might not be better. I have to bet this horse today.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's serious trouble.
Yeah.
I will say, if I'm playing devil's advocate, is I didn't.
Which you may.
Sometimes those trips get overbet. But
this horse is not going to be that short, though, is she? What price is she on the morning line?
8-1, I think.
I don't think 8-1's a bad price for this horse. I mean, there's a lot of horse to bet in here. What about Bodegas? The horse that I picked. This horse has nothing but good turf pedigree. There's plenty of big turf pedigree. You got 15% turf sprints with Omaha Beach. Gets on the right surface. Gets Joel. I thought this horse was really sneaky in here.
Yeah, I just wanted him to do just a little bit more running first time out. But what are you going to do? It was off the turf race. It happens.
I don't like the race Aperitif is coming out of, but this horse was way against the track in there, and I like to switch to Jose Ortiz, so I'm going to throw that one in as well.
Yeah, I'm always against these types that
I hear
run
you.
okay maiden claiming, and then they oh no, just kidding, we don't want to lose this
I'm just
horse now.
not sure this race is that much better than some of the maiden claiming races, to be honest with you. I don't think they've run that fast. We'll see. I think our differing opinions show how competitive this race is, and I think it's a super, super fun race. Closes out the early pick 5, starts the late pick 6. We'll be back with race 6 and the late pick 5 after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Jonathan and Andy. I have a question about this race. I was talking to Mike Dubb yesterday. I have to ask him this. I want to know how a horse, the dam, is Uncle Junior, and Nada McKenzie ends up being named Smart Kenzie. No Sopranos reference on that at all?
No.
Mike? I got to ask him about that. Right? Didn't you feel like there should be like a chain of Soprano references horses? Maybe he doesn't like the show at all and he want to do it.
How can
Or
you not
somebody
like?
involved.
How can you not like The Sopranos?
I don't know.
I've actually thought about watching it again.
I was watching, sometimes in the winter, like they'll run the things and I'll start watching them, and it's a rabbit hole. I can spend an entire Tuesday
good.
watching episodes. There's so much. The thing I love about The Sopranos is that while there's some action, most of it is mundane, the fact that it's just family stuff, and this guy has, he's the mob boss and he has the exact same family problems everybody has in life. That's my favorite. The stuff with the kids. I love all that stuff. I just think it's great. Anyway, Cerro Rico. Given the kind of information that was out, particularly about Party in the Army, who scratched, unfortunately, for Jeremiah, who ate a lot of hot dogs, by the way, on 4th of July, I thought this was a pretty good. I mean, he was hard-ridden, but I thought this horse was okay.
I was picking this horse on top,
Me
even
too.
with the 2 in. I think Yalpon's going to be a very good sire. I think he's got a lot of buzz. I think he's going to
The
continue.
people spending money on his horses certainly hope he is.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good.
Because they've been selling well.
I also, this is like kind of a new thing I've started to kind of fall in love with, a new pet trick, is these OBS horses get right back to the track. You know they're going to be fit. You know they're fast because they obviously sold well because they ran fast. They've been trained to be quick, so they're going to get away from their clean. Not clean, but they're going to get away from there. And this horse has a good pedigree too, right? I mean, Promise Me Silver.
Promise Me Silver, was that a Sydney?
It was
Sydney Shafoff. Shafoff trained that horse?
No, it was. I want to say it was Brett Calhoun.
Maybe. That sounds right. Actually, I might have that written somewhere.
She was good.
I agree. And produced a horse whose name I can't read. Sierra something.
Probably Sierra Silver, maybe.
Sierra Silver ran a 90-plus buyer. Another foal ran 80 buyers. No, I agree. I was with this horse, and they like this horse.
Yeah.
To be fair. And I had heard they liked this horse, but others in here. What about Pepper J? Wouldn't you think? Bill Parcells named a horse for Pepper Johnson. Though there was a discussion on our show, and didn't somebody say, "Are you sure this horse is named for Pepper Johnson?"
Someone did say that. It wasn't me.
It didn't go well,
I
right?
was muted.
Didn't go well. There is a lot of comedy at times on our production calls every morning. Jonathan, you've actually started to weigh in occasionally. I like that.
Well, that's because I'm not always on the call. So when I'm on it,
No, we hadn't noticed.
I say something.
Nobody noticed.
I say something so that it counts as like my attendance. I'm
Well,
here.
you also occasionally get to make fun of me, which is good, and I always enjoy that. And I don't know. I mean, Mel Giddings had a tremendous meet here last year, and horses are running really well. She really should have won that turf sprint yesterday. That horse was unlucky not to win. And the dam herself ran figures in the 80s, and one of the two foals was okay.
I just didn't like they worked the horse. I don't like when a horse
They worked on turf?
Work on turf because to me it's like we're trying to figure out what you want to do because you didn't answer that question in all of your dirt works.
You got that, Mel? Stop with those turf works, really. JK, against them.
You can do it.
I'm going to use Smart. I could use
I'm
Smart
just saying.
Kenzie, but we'll see. I have a feeling Sarah Rico is going to be a pretty short price in here.
Yeah, especially with the scratch.
I have no problem.
The
rooting
scratch
for Tom to
is,
do
by
well.
the way, I think the one probably would have taken a little bit of money too.
Oh, I agree. This race changed dramatically. I mean, forget about David's line. First of all, you can tell. I think Sarah Rico, he obviously would have made much shorter without the 1 and 2 in the race. Race number 7, I think, is an interesting race in some ways. Obviously, as we show the horse I have second, you have on top, I'm very busy, who I'll bet you is shorter than 7-5 today. This is winning the Muniz Memorial. Is it Mervyn Muniz? This horse got extremely good. And then has been laid off a long time and kept tremendous company, gets pace to run at. Chad, here's some number. 250-plus day layoffs and turf routes. Overall, Chad Brown is 44 for 175, 25% $1.95 ROI, which is incredible when you consider how his horses get bet. At Saratoga over the last 5 years, he's 13 for 49, 27%, and a 260 ROI. So, I mean, think about those numbers for a second. He's winning with 27% with horses that are 4-1. They're not super short prices, and they're winning at a high percentage. Those are remarkable numbers for a trainer that wins as much as he does. They are ready to go. It's going to be short. I'm not against him, but I didn't want to put him on top.
Oh, I think he's.
Nick told me he's a cinch. Nick said to me when I was talking this morning, he just thinks he can't.
I'm glad Nick said that. This is a grade 1 horse. It's a grade 1 caliber horse.
Yeah, I agree.
And if it was trained by anyone else, you could say, oh well, but is he going to be ready to run first off a break? But with Chad, you don't have to worry about that.
Hey guys, you got like 30 yards behind you for the conversation where I can't hear you. Much as I love each and every one of you, enough. Thanks. So I don't disagree. He's a funny horse because he's a horse that I remember Chad really liked. I think he's the first cloud computing to win, which is kind of cool. Remember he won, and Seth said to me, how do I not have this horse? He's a cloud computing. Not being jealous, just saying, he's a cloud. Why don't I have him? And it took him a long time to get his act together. And then he's laid up for a long time. Considering how Chad Brown does off these, this horse is probably going to come back and run really well. And I'm not making a big bet against him. But I want to give Regalo another chance in here. I thought his last race was really good. To me, this is a horse, and we can take a look at it, that just completely turned his career around in the turf. It's not as though he's a bum on the dirt, but he never ran as well as this. And I actually thought this was a pretty good race. Now, he's running on a firmer turf. He's also going to have to deal with more speed, and he cannot, get involved with horses like Nelson Avenue and Big Everest, who are faster horses, and they're talented horses as well, particularly Big Everest on the turf. But I want to give this guy one chance to see if he can step forward and run well here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only negative would be is do you think he's going to get from pressure?
Well, but my feeling is 10-1 morning line. I don't want to worry that much about it. I'm going to hope that Luis can find a way to rate him. I don't disagree with you. I think he could become a bit of a pace victim, and the horse he has to beat is a closer in a race that should have a pretty honest pace. So that worries me. I just thought he ran well enough. You obviously are not a big fan, which is fine.
No, I mean, like I said, I mean, a lot of times it's a creative idea. I don't have a problem with it. I just think the 5.
This is a crazy race, though. When you were looking at this race, how many times did you look up and say, are you sure this is a turf race? Because, like, look at the first 3 horses, right?
Yeah.
General Jim, who won the Pate Mile, Caramel Chip, Nelson Avenue. These are dirt horses, full screens, a dirt horse. I mean, it's not clear that this wouldn't have been a more interesting race had it been rained off, right?
No,
it's
you're
a
absolutely
very
right.
funny race, a lot of trying. And General Jim's not a terrible turf horse, but I don't know, man. I've just kind of worn out from him.
Yeah, I mean,
His cliffhanger wasn't bad,
no,
to be fair.
he's all right. He's all right, General Jim. But I figured he'd work out a nice trip in there. He's tactical enough with Johnny. He'd be able to save ground on both turns. That was the only thing that had him in my mix.
I didn't want Nantastic Beach in here simply because Nantastic Beach can only realistically win it, barring insane trips, can only realistically win this race if the 5 doesn't show up. If I'm going to try to beat the 5, I want to try to beat him with a different running style. I don't want to beat him with a horse with a similar running style. And he ran really well last time, but you want to tell me where the hell that race came from?
No, I remember. This is the day you'll remember this.
Is this the day that you?
Big 5 and I didn't use this horse.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't see it. I was 5 deep in the race, and this horse won.
You ran big last time.
Yeah.
That was a big step forward for him. And listen, you know what? If you want to make the argument as to what happened, and this horse was running in $16,000, 20,000 glamours, maybe this horse got to a better turf course.
Yeah.
I mean, this horse running down at Gulfstream. Maybe this horse stepped forward, on a better turf course. So I'm not a fan. I don't like the idea. But Julian's here to ride.
That's good.
And unlike people I criticize, I happen to like Julian, and I think he takes way too much heat.
I would agree with you. Won some really big races.
No, and
Speaking of Mark Casse, Tepin.
There you go. I don't recall him blowing the ride on her. All right, race number 8. So the conversation in the Chuvie, I've told this story before. Do you know my personal Chuvie story? My friend Larry Benton, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think the Chuvie was owned by Whitney Tower. She was a great racehorse, one of the all-time greatest racehorses. I think he had a relation. He knew Whitney Tower somehow. He may have driven for him or something when he was younger. And this was the first friends I made in Saratoga, a couple that are much older than me, Larry and Leslie. And Larry took me to the sales, and it was the night the Chuvie's first foal was selling. So he was particularly interested in it. It was interesting also because it's a very famous night. It was the night Richard Nixon resigned. And it was Larry's birthday as well. And Larry had served in Vietnam as well. And I remember listening to Nixon's speech, something that we were not big Nixon fans. And it was they stopped the sale to play his resignation speech, and people were emotional about it, actually. Very different time in America.
Over at the Pavilion.
Yeah, and that was when her foal sold. It was that night, and the foal was Tom Swift, who was bought by Sigmund Viola Summer. Frank Martin trained for them. And he turned out to be a pretty good turf horse. Not great, but I think he won the Seneca, which was a 1 5/8 race we ran here. But he ended up being a reasonably useful horse. He wasn't that good in the dirt, but Tom Swift, Chuvie's first foal.
Wow.
Yeah, history. I mean, the sales. Imagine going back to the 70s and the sales when they stopped the sales for Richard Nixon's resignation
crazy,
speech.
yeah.
A very different time, a better time in some ways. Anyway, Raging Sea. I think you and I are on the same boat. You're a little more against her than I am. This is her in the La Troyenne. I think there are questions. I think she ran very well last time. Big speed track, had no real chance the way the race was run. This came back a slow race, and it has not been proven yet that it was not a slow race. Torpedo Anna, she just didn't run that day for whatever reasons, whatever excuse they want to make. She didn't run. And she's also a horse, Raging Sea, that this is the kind of horse that trainers win big races with, where they deserve extra credit. Because was she ever really that good?
Yeah, that's how I feel about her. You nailed it. I mean, her last race, her last win, she won because Randomized and Torpedo Anna didn't show up. The race prior to that she won, the Beldame, is because she was 1-9. And then you go back to her race in the Personal Ensign. She got that huge pace where Randomized and Idiomatic set it up for her. I just think she has to have everything go her way for her to win these types of races. And it's amazing to me that she's won as many races as she has.
It's a tribute, really, to Chad and his crew. Flat out.
So, now if she's 7-1 in here, I'd love to have a conversation.
But she's
with
not
her,
going
but
to be.
She's going to be odds on, and I don't think she has to win.
I do think she's going to get an honest pace, which is going to help her out north south side, and we'll talk about them in a second. I'm going to bet on Leslie's Rose because she obviously cannot stand up on a wet track, and she was eased right away in there. I thought she ran extremely well in this race. She is not really she's won well sprinting, but this was a big speed track, and Hall and Ice. I mean, these are legit horses. I think Our Disaster is running in the honor wins. I don't think Hall and Ice is in there. That's a good race on Sunday.
Our Disaster is running, yeah.
And this was one of the better 3-year-olds in the country last year when she ran her good races. Do I completely trust her? Absolutely not. But I think I want to give her another chance in here. And I don't know. David's got her a big price in here. Is she really going to be 5-1? And she's going to be twice the price at Dazzling Move?
Yeah, I mean, I picked her last time in the Phipps. I agree with you completely. That race 2 back where she was doing something that she does not want to do. She does not want to go that distance. And she ran well there as a comeback. I'm going to draw a line through the last race. She's supposed to improve off of that effort, and I think she will improve off that effort. But I couldn't get. I'll use her.
Your pick, who I picked third, a little bit on our case, and I'm not saying we're going to be wrong about her. We've always wanted this horse to be good.
Yeah,
but she's got to step forward.
And I'm hoping, she's an Arrogate, right? So you'd like to think that, she's been crying out for a 1 1/8, and now she's going to get a 1 1/8, but she puts the blinkers on, so she's going to be in the race. She's got that stamina feeling pedigree that she's going to just kind of keep going. I think she's very interesting.
I think she's the interesting horse in here because, I want to look at a couple of, particularly look at the Malibu Beauty Gunsong race, and then we'll talk about Dazzling Move, who I'm not a fan of, and you aren't. We've got her fourth. I was glad to see Gunsong finally run well again, reasonably well, but she has given no indication that she is the horse she was last year. And she was really good, and Mark did a great job with her. And I just beginning to wonder if she's one of these horses that just didn't really go on with it from her 3-year-old year. They did too well with her too consistently for that. And also Malibu Beauty, it's just like, where are the races that make these horses super competitive on their recent form?
I don't see them. That's why I don't see those. I don't see them. I just don't think they're very good. But I think in races like this, you just take a shot. When you have.
I don't. Who are they supposed to be afraid of?
Yeah.
You can't love Raging Sea in here. Leslie's Rose, I don't totally trust her, and Tamara's still got to step forward. It's not like there's a lot of question marks in here.
The one thing I'll say about fillies and mares when it comes to these types of races, you don't see it as much with colts, is running third is worth a lot for a mare with pedigree.
Yep.
So a lot of times they'll put horses that cannot win in these races because if they run third, it's still worth something to them. You don't see that as much.
Filly and mare races, you have to judge sometimes differently. Take for instance Mark's decision to run, Mark Cassie's decision to run the good horse Nitrogen in the Alabama. I mean, obviously, a lot of it is predicated on how well she ran the slot, but I was talking about the other day, and he fully understands there's a big difference between winning a 3-horse off the turf race and winning a race like the Alabama. If she wins the Alabama, yes, she's right in the conversation of the Eclipse Award, but it also increases her value by millions of dollars. Now, I don't know if DJ Stable would keep her, sell, fold, whatever they're going to do. But forgetting about all that, her value skyrockets by winning a race like that. And with all due respect, given her resume, a win in the Saratoga Oaks is not going to hurt her value, but it's not going to help it even remotely close to what a win in the Alabama would do, and even a second in the Alabama.
And when you go into the ring, or if you don't go into the ring, or if you sell foals, being out of a champion means something. And if she wins the Alabama, I mean, she thrusts herself. I think if Lucara wins tomorrow and Nitrogen wins the Alabama, I would think Nitrogen would be the leader because of the versatility she's shown.
It'll be interesting. And a lot depends on, you've got the Cotillion, you've got the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but it certainly makes it interesting, which we like, and good
Good cheer.
Good cheer. She's got to rebound big. And if she does and wins the Alabama, she gets right back in the conversation. Is the name of that broodmare that Bobby Flay has, America, the one whose foals always sell for zillions of dollars, that is a perfect example, right? I think Bill trained that horse, Mott.
Yep.
She finished third in the CCA Oaks, I want to say. I think she was beaten from here to the 1863 Club. Now, there's pedigree and such, but her resume looks really good. she was a bit of a plotter, and
Yeah.
her foals have run well. I mean, it's not she hasn't been a good producer. I'm not saying it, but that's a perfect example of the kind of value you get out of
Absolutely.
running in those races and finishing third. This is an interesting race. Now, as far as dazzling move, I know she seems speed. I can't imagine that Kendrick's going to let her go with Malibu Beauty, and I wonder if Pride's Crossing's another horse who's got to be forward in this race as well. I want to see her do it in this race on a fast track against this field. But to be fair, she did run a 90 buyer when second 2 races back, so I don't want to totally knock her.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And Chad's pretty good about doing that, especially, he'll do it on the grass as well. But when he has a couple in and there's no pace in the race, Chad, I think he goes against what people might think. One of them will be forward. I mean, think about Excellent Truth the other day in a race that didn't look like it had a lot of speed. This horse was in second around there.
Well, Flavian is rarely unaware when he's in a race that lacks speed. Race number 9, speaking of Chad Brown, we'll take a look at Asbury Park's last race, a horse you and I aren't trying to beat. The competition's tougher. This was some move.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those situations where when he was produced here, it was it was over pretty quickly. I think he's pretty good. I think Asbury Park's pretty good, and I like where he's drawn with Flavian Pratt. I with Flavian and with Irad, when they draw and a lot of them, but when they draw the rail in a turf race, I always feel like they're going to work out a good trip.
Yeah, I mean, I think this horse had a very interesting trip first time out, clearly moved forward. The one thing I would say, there's a lot of give in the ground. There was raining during that race, and maybe it moved up. And I'll tell you something. The horse, I don't know. I think we both have the 7-2, Asbury Park, King of Ashes. I don't want to discount this horse. This horse was second to World Beater. We can show the race, the Autobahn last time out. World Beater came back and ran a very good second in the Belmont Derby. And this horse improving for Brendan Walsh. I thought this horse is really dangerous, and it certainly doesn't hurt to be picking up Irad.
Well, I think we're both picking Asbury Park based off of that one performance. King of Ashes has 2 good performances, so there's a little bit more trust there. The problem for me
and a little bit better price too.
I just worry does King of Ashes want to go further? The 9 furlongs and then the.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Does he want that was
9.5 and then 9?
That was my only. I probably might have picked him on top if it wasn't for that, but. I just said, what the heck.
I want to see Hands of Time get a chance going on the turf this year because while he wasn't great, I thought he ran well enough last year that he could have real improvement. And the other thing is, there's not a lot of speed in here. If I were Miguel and Joel, I'd just send this horse.
The pace projector had this horse, and I was like, are you?
Well,
I thought I was looking at the wrong race.
Because it's straight cash. Because how is straight cash not forward here?
Yeah, I just didn't see how this one. Yeah, exactly.
What do you do with straight cash? I don't like straight cash.
Obviously
you don't either.
Did not. Yeah, what did I write here? I just didn't think that was a good race last time. It's hard for me. It's very hard for me to take California form on the grass against
stretching out, mile 16th, good horses. Plensa, who I don't have in there, and you have third. I like this horse's last race.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we joke about it. I know you joke about it with Tom saying that the Churchill meet was one of the most competitive that he's seen. That makes sense. Their purses got really high. And I feel like that meet is very competitive. And I've been giving horses a lot of different looks. And Rusty Arnold is another one, too, that when he gets one going well, I trust that he can keep them going well.
I agree. I think this horse is dangerous. We'll see what happens in race number 9. Last race, closing it out. Big scratch, Linda. I think this horse was a vet scratch, Dancing Jane. So I'm not going to make fun of you for this one. Let's take a look at the race that horse came out of with Saipan and Lucy Playa. You don't like the one Lucy Play at all, which is fine. I would say for this quality of horse, this horse set a very fast pace, which had the race falling apart late. Who am I supposed to be so afraid of in here?
I don't know who. There's no one. But I mean, look, inside drawn speed horse Jose Lezcano, sneaky good on the front end.
There's other speed though, don't you think? The 7 and 8 are supposed to go here, particularly the 8.
I would think so, especially stretching out for both or for.
I don't mind the idea of sitting. I thought this horse ran well last time.
But even if they do go, that's the one good thing about being tactical from the rails. You can sit in the pocket. You can sit right in behind those horses.
So you like Princess Summer, which is a perfectly valid opinion, but I have a problem with that horse's last race. But go ahead.
Yeah, there's horses that have run well out of that. I think the horse is going to improve second off a break. Hadn't run since last July. And one that I don't love trying to figure out, does a horse want to stretch out? So if a horse has a good run going a mile, I'll consider it.
I don't like this horse because I don't want to bet a horse that lost by 3/4 of a length to a horse that broke 5 lengths behind the field. That's my biggest problem with this horse, is that Bankcheck, who came back and ran, I think, the same number in the next start and didn't get left nearly as badly. I don't like it. That's my only problem. That's it. I may be wrong about this horse. I scratched in the 8-2 here because I like Dancing Jane, who I thought would run better. Let's take a look at her last race. My problem with this horse is Joe Starb stretching out. Stretch out on the turf. We can show the race. 12 for 101, $1.39 ROI. He's 7 for 46 with maidens, a lower percentage, but he does have a $1.92 ROI, but this horse is not going to be a big price. And for a trainer that does a lot of things well, he doesn't do great stretching out. And I know the Jeremiah's horse ran really well, and I bet against it yesterday. But betting on short-priced horses stretching out from turf sprints, especially when you got Joe Sharp on a horse that's lost 2 races in a row, it lost close races, Joe Sharp wins.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just not a big fan.
I just hope that this horse would take a step forward. It hadn't run since last year prior to that June 19th start. So I just hope that second off a break could take a little bit of a step forward. And I just, horses that have a little bit of tactical speed, they give me a little bit more comfort that they can work out some sort of a trip.
I agree. Listen, I scratched the horse for second. I'm obviously not wildly against. I had the horse a little lower. Fire Agate, the firster for Miguel. I thought that horse was dangerous.
Yeah, that was just, honestly, I had a scratch, and that was a respect thing for this firster, not this time.
It's not huge turf, though, but not this time's a good turf
And it's a little, I guess you would say it's a little discouraging if the horse had any ability.
$150,000 purchase.
Might give her one spin around there. Give her one spin around there.
All right, we're done.
We did it.
Who's that? Do you know? There's another TV here showing a horse. We have no idea who it is. Head over to NYRA Bets. Use the promo code SPOT200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. We have a 10% bonus on a win bet. Opt in for that over at NYRA Bets. Got to do some opting in today. Also, what else do we have? I'm going to do some opting in while I'm there. We got another opt-in. $10,000 hit and split, late pick 5 here in Colonial. I won't be playing the Colonial pick 5, but don't let that dissuade you. Oh, wait a second. That 10% bonus is at Del Mar. So I didn't need to opt in that. But that 10% bonus is Del Mar. Good to know now. Cross-country pick 5. 2 at Monmouth. 3 here. Big day, of course, at Monmouth tomorrow. Showing some of those races during the day. We have a Hawaiian shirt giveaway. Jonathan's going to get like 10 of these. He's going to start wearing them on the show. And we have, last but not least, we are on from 1 to 3 in FS2, 3 to 6:30 on YouTube, the NYRA YouTube page. Just go over there. We'll be here. You're on early. We're going to have some, I think, a total of 5 of the Fridays last week, this week, and 3 more at the meet are going to be a little bit broken up. We apologize for that. We know that it's frustrating for people, but check it out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and NYRA Bets, and most people stream YouTube on their TVs.
Yeah, sometimes you have to download the YouTube app if it's not already native, but a lot of times it's native.
It's in the TV. I have a TV here. I don't get any TV stations, so I just watch West Wing. Anyway, Jonathan, thank you. Thank you for watching. Frank Miramati is up next with a reprise of the Scratch and Changes. Enjoy a glorious day.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions. And hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.